listening to Poor Man's Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here at 565 Live with guest Jason Clark, GM from Arcade Comedy Theater. Thank you for taking the time to join us tonight.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me down. Looking forward to let's have a good talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And as I was telling Cheech, we were discussing this before you got here. And your grandfather.
Yeah.
So congratulations. I was telling him we'll probably touch on that more than anything.
No.
Because you seem pretty excited.
I'm very excited. It's nice.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah. First grandchild?
First grandchild.
Oh, that's
yeah. And I keep myself guarded. With things. Anything, whatever I'm involved in. If it's a big thing I'm excited about, I gotta just keep it down. And then once the time comes, and it's like in the moment and the emotion of it, and the biggest thing anyone's surprised I tell them is I didn't cry.
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm a crier.
Oh.
And I walked in and I was, my son and I, we pulled up. They live in Connecticut.
Yeah.
So my son and I drove up, and I looked at him as we get pulled into the driveway, and I'm like, we're about to go meet a new human being.
Yeah.
Like a brand new person that's, our family.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
I get excited. I love babies. I have 2 kids, and I'm a crier too. I will cry at anything. Like, you put a Pixar movie on, I'm done.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, when my first son was born, I was like, I'm going to be a mess. And then I was just too, like, focused on, like, oh my God, like, what?
Yeah.
I'm responsible for a human being, but it's just so exciting. And I know my parents love being grandparents.
Yeah.
And it's always nice having good grandparents and stuff. So.
Yeah, that's the thing of, like, all I call them the OGs. The folks in my life that are grandparents, and they always tell you that, it's just like you can't really anticipate what it's going to feel like.
Yeah.
And what that bond is, but the most powerful thing was watching my daughter become a mother. Like watching that mother-child bond is really something special. But especially seeing it from your daughter.
Yeah.
It's absolutely. I mean, it was just.
The way that you're putting it, man, is very, it makes my insides happy. It gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside.
We are the gushiest guys ever.
Fucking
We were talking earlier, because I took him with me to pick up my kids, and we were just talking about it. I'm like, I love being a dad and all that.
I can't wait, man. I can wait a couple of years, but I'm also let's do this.
I was a young dad, I was 23.
That's how
So it was definitely sort of what you said.
Yeah.
That when the baby was born, it was like you're just having to be like this whole moment of all these things happening.
Yeah.
You don't really fully appreciate it. And that was like the biggest thing that I could send to my son-in-law, when she was in labor. It was just like, take a moment, man, and just sort of take it in and remember this, because it comes so quick.
Yeah.
And every priority in your life changes in an instant.
Yeah.
And for the good, for the better.
Yeah.
You become a much better person overall when that happens.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But let's get into some of the comedy stuff.
All right.
I definitely.
Enough of the family stuff.
My
wife, my
all
daughter,
that boring family.
You guys can tune out, unfollow their page.
Can I ask one question that I have to ask?
Yeah.
I saw his name is Dudley, right?
It is, yeah.
So does that have anything to do with Harry Potter and all that?
No.
My family is a huge Harry Potter family, so that's the first place my head went. I was like, oh, that's tight.
It's a family name on my side.
Oh, that's even okay. So that's even better. That's cool.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's one of those things that we're just like, Dudley, because you start going through that game of the name, and how is this, and it's not a common name. And as soon as I seen his little face, I'm like, oh, that's a Dudley.
That's awesome.
That's my Dudley.
That's
Dudley.
That's cool.
I love the name.
It's awesome. That fits. That's fun. That's nice. But I did want to get in, I guess, how do you get into comedy? Tell us a little bit about your background, and how you got started into the comedy world, I guess.
I was in, I ran big box retail stores for 17 years.
No, okay.
And
that old
I reached
beginning.
I reached a point where it was just, sort of at that point where I need to find something in my life that speaks to me, that gives me some sort of release, that makes me feel good, because for 60 to 70 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, my soul has been sucked from me for 17 years. So, and that, you know, my wife and I are, you know, both big fans of comedy, and it was at the same time that both of my children were older, so we didn't need to be around as much, and they didn't want us around. So my wife and I were just, you know, hey, we can go do things now. And, you know, Alexis was old enough to watch, you know, my son, and we found the Arcade Comedy Theater through the fact that my wife's cousin is Gab Benesso.
Okay.
So so we would go and see Gab throughout the city, you know, watching her, and then she was doing a benefit show at the arcade with a bunch of them, like Missy Moreno, Abby Fugor. You know, there were these folks that when I walked in, as soon as I walked into the arcade for the first time, I felt like this weird, like, connection. You know, I'm looking for something to bring joy to my life, and this place just screamed joy. You know? And so we went in and we watched the show, and Gab, we waited for her afterwards in the lobby, and Gab came out, and they had cards on the table that said, you know, they had comedy classes. So Gab came out, and I said, this place has comedy class. I've always wanted to try stand-up. Like, I've always wanted to just do it one time and see what's up. And I'm thinking maybe I should take a class. And Gab just said, bullshit. She's like, you don't need to take a class. I have a monthly show at the Brillo Box, and next month you can be on it and have 5 minutes. And I had no idea what that meant. Like,
you had never done it at that point?
I'd never done it. No, I've done a lot of, like, public speaking. I've spoken in front of a lot of people in my corporate. You know,
so you're comfortable behind a microphone.
Yeah. But not like I could be funny with corporate work. You know, when I'm talking to
funny for the guy giving the speech at the lecture.
You know, and
not your night at the Apollo.
Not right stuff. So you know, I came up with you know, one story. You know, I've always enjoyed storytelling comics. They're all storytellers. I mean, it's just how I enjoy a certain structure of a storytelling show, Mike Birbiglia style.
Oh, okay,
You know what I mean? And so I grabbed one.
I love Mike Birbiglia.
Oh yeah. Mike Birbiglia and Hamilton got me through 2020.
Oh my God, you came to the right guy.
Thank God for Jokes. Is just it's just to me it's a masterpiece. I just for the style of comedy, stand up that I love it all. I respect every type of stand up comedy that's out there. Doesn't mean that I like it. You know what I mean? It speaks to somebody. It just doesn't speak to me, and that's fine. You know, but went and did that.
It's like any kind of art. It's like music or anything. You can respect all of it, but you know, I don't have to listen to that.
I respect the art of a country musician. But I will never be able to be turned to that side of music. You know what I mean?
I respect ska, but I've never listened to it every day.
Just Mondays, Cheech. Ska. There's something about ska music that just makes me happy because I feel like it's just goofy, good feeling music. I've never frowned and listened to ska. I don't know. I bought these yellow sunglasses earlier because I remember wearing them younger and it just making me happy. And I was like, you know what, ska makes me happy and these yellow sunglasses make me happy. I'm going to do it today and see how I feel. I said, you know what, I had a good day, Cheech. So, you know what?
I know you did.
It's the little things for me.
We had a great day.
So for the arcade, what kind of makes it different? What do you like about it?
I mean, what makes it?
Is there anything that makes it different than, say, a different comedy club?
Without a doubt.
So that's what
I mean, just first and foremost. I mean, understand that it's truly a theater. We are an arts organization. You know, when it all started 10 years ago, I started volunteering with them not long after my first time getting up on stage, and that was my goal. After I did it, after I did that show with Gab, it was the greatest drug. And you hear people say that, and And it's so true. I mean, everybody says it because it's so true. There's nothing that can replace that energy back and forth between a group of people and yourself. So my goal was just to perform at the arcade one time, and that was all I wanted to do. And then I was there. We were there all the time. We loved it. There were times where it was just my wife and I in the audience. In those early days.
Yeah.
And I just looked around and said, I can definitely help out. I'm willing to do whatever. You need to build things, you need to paint things, you need to whatever. And I sort of started volunteering on the operations side of everything. And then the opportunity just arose, and I grew with the organization. You know, what makes it so special is the fact that what we are focused on is comedy. So what differentiates us between a club, you know, the club side of the business, which the club side of the business is absolutely essential to our business. Their business model is just so vastly different from what we are looking to accomplish. What we're looking to accomplish is to continue to grow this art form and cultivate and incubate artists, to give them stages to do whatever it is that they want to do in comedy. And so when you look back 10 years ago, we're about to have our 10-year anniversary next February. When you look at the impact that this small organization has had in the art scene, and more importantly, helping the large art scene, right? The cultural trust, and all of these theater companies that have existed in Pittsburgh for 20 plus, 30 plus years. All we wanted to do was sit at the table. We wanted them to recognize that comedy is one of the truest forms of art. Spoken word, you know. So that in itself is what it just at its core is what our mission is. So every day it's us focusing on how to be better for the artists in general. Yeah. So. And through education and being able to have the classes and watch new talent come through there, it's pretty amazing.
So what kind of classes are there? So there's like a writing kind of workshop, or is there improv? What can people?
Yes. So there, we have a little bit of everything, but it's rooted in improv and stand up. Those are two core classes, and then you have sketch writing that we don't offer every session, but we generally every other session. And then TV writing that we do online right now. We offer that periodically, and then just general workshops. So, and there's other things that we're continuing to look at when it comes to the academy. You know, my academy director, Robin Hitchcock, and I, you know, we work very close together of sort of understanding of like how much more can we put out there for people to just understand this art even more, you know, even the idea of workshops focused on production and how to produce a show. Because that's what's different too. That's the idea that when you see our calendar, in 2019 we had 527 individual events that happened in our building. Between shows, classes, workshops. When you see those things, and you see especially the shows, the majority of those shows are presented by us. Okay, we're not producing them. They have their own producer.
And you're just kind of a venue?
And we're their venue. Yeah, and so that's where it is that we're presenting. And then we do have a handful of things that we do produce, like when you see Level Up Stand Up, Out of Order Stand Up. On the stand-up side, those are the shows that we're producing. But what we do is we turn to local Pittsburgh comics, and we say, this is your show for the next 3 months. Book it. And you get a taste of what it's like to produce a show without any real overhead for you. Right? And then the goal there is for when they get to the end of their 3-month run, they then want to produce their own show with us. So you'll see Eric Nesby will be he'll be announcing his own show that he's going to produce at the theater.
Eric's great.
He's amazing.
We love Eric.
Eric's one of the real ones. To see him.
Eric came on in December, and he was great. And I wanted to talk to you. We just saw, at least I just saw the one show, I think it was last weekend, that Mike Travers headline one and Marcus Cox, I think, headline one. Brandy Alexis is coming on next week. Those were some lineups.
Yeah, that at the Greer Cabaret Theater. For the Trust. So that's a thing that I've been working on with the individual that runs the Greer.
Oh, okay.
For about 2 years.
Yeah.
So we worked first before the pandemic even happened.
Mm-hmm.
We were already discussing what that could look like, because giving opportunities for more people to see comedy on a bigger scale, and also rewarding our local comics with an opportunity to play bigger room, because you have the arcade. And where is the trajectory? What does every stand-up comic want to do? They want to get a hosting weekend at the Improv. Right. They want to feature for whoever.
Yeah.
But that in-between space of getting you ready to perform in front of 450 people potentially,
right.
Or you look at someone like Suzanne Lawrence that opened up for Tig Notaro in front of 865 people. Like, how can I, through the arcade, continue to give those bigger opportunities to get them more ready for whatever they want out of this comedy career.
Yeah.
So the Greer show, it's presented by the arcade, and I work that independent of that programming department, Mike Rubino and Nia Johnson. Mm-hmm. So I will book that. Uh-huh. So I book those shows. And we're testing it out. It'd be great to have an arcade series in a venue like that, and also have the opportunity that when the programming department hits a wall with bringing in a comic from New York or LA because of venue size, well, is it possible that we can find a larger venue? But that's not really what we're the outside there's folks coming from that are at that level. It's really not our wheelhouse.
Right.
So, but it's just looking at those potential things for growth that are exciting.
I know from just talking to some local comedians, a lot of people's complaints are they don't care about the local comedian at a lot of places, and that seems like that's exactly what you want to do, is kind of see the local guy, and then anyone who's interested, like, let's find that growth and work with the people who are here. And
I mean, there's
talent here.
There is a lot of. I mean, I wouldn't. It became a point for me that I was having more enjoyment coming out of the business of comedy. Not more, but equal to being on stage. I love to be on stage.
Yeah.
But the business and me being able to step back and see a moment in a local comic's career that they get to open for one of their idols or influences. Suzanne Lawrence getting to open. I cry. I mean, I just told you I didn't cry when I saw my grandson for the first time. I cried in my garage talking to Suzanne about that.
Yeah.
Like, it was magical, and I feel that for them.
Yeah.
And I want to open those doors, and I want to use the opportunity to, first and foremost, I want the local comics to feel that they can continue to grow if they want to go this route. Colin Chamberlain started out with an arcade comedy theater stand-up class. Yeah. And within a couple of years, he was teaching it.
Oh, wow.
And then the next thing you know, he's doing everything that he's doing, and he's in New York City, and we'll be seeing him on The Late Show, The Tonight Show before we know it.
Yeah.
Like, that's a reality, and we can step back and say, Pittsburgh can make this happen. But we're also seeing Pittsburgh as a destination for large acts. I mean, if you look at what Drusky Entertainment is doing in Pittsburgh, when they're bringing Taylor Tomlinson, when they're bringing Eliza, when they're bringing Mark Maron, Hannah Gadsby. Yeah. I mean, Tig Notaro, like, these are mega.
Yeah. These are people that do hours on TV.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, hey, Pittsburgh is on a lot of people's radar as being a place where they get comedy and they love comedy. And and as Pittsburghers, that's that we're funny. We enjoy it.
What is your kind of thoughts on the Pittsburgh comedy audience? Because like I said, we get a lot of the comedians' perspectives, but I want to get yours, who kind of has the crossover, who knows some stage stuff and also some of the business stuff.
Yeah. Every room's different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's just comparing a club audience to an arcade audience.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you hear comics talk about a show at the arcade, they're going to talk about how the audience is there for comedy. They're there for comedy. Yeah. There's not a Groupon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not an email coming out to you telling you can come see whoever for free this weekend. And people are like, oh, I'll go check this out for free.
Right.
The people that are coming through our doors, they're fans of comedy. They're respecting the art. So there's that difference there. And then geographically, you start getting into different audiences. Mm-hmm. You know, you travel 12 miles out of the city limits, and you've got a completely different audience that in some cases, as an artist, I'm going to do certain material in the city, but I won't do it in Fayette County. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I'm working with a booker and I'm not going to, you know, whatever. But, you know, it's the audiences here, at the end of it all, they want to be entertained. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's just, you know, it's just finding that you can find rooms that are just with true comedy fans, and that's what the Arcade has.
So for people that want to find a show at the Arcade, what can they expect on the average week? Like what shows on the weekend? What do you offer for the audience?
Right. So it's, you know, the biggest thing to understand is we're all things comedy. So you know we're the home for it in Pittsburgh. Yeah. There's not another stage in Pittsburgh where you're going to find on a weekend you could see a sketch show. Yeah. You could see an incredible improv show. Yeah. You can see a themed improv show, whether it's live Dungeons and Dragons with Knights of the Arcade. Yeah. That is an epic show to watch, and even if you're not a D&D fan, they're the longest running show that we've had. And then you're going to see potentially a local stand-up showcase, where you're potentially going to see somebody that has some credits, like Nori Davis that was just in. Okay. Like Nori Davis is going to be a superstar. And when I tell people, it's like, you need to be able to see these comics in this setting now.
Yeah, do it now.
Because the next time you're going to be in an 850-seat theater. Yeah. So that's what you can find, you know, at any time, any weekend. There's, you know, it's so fluid, and it's pretty amazing. And it's been amazing to see some of the online content that was created during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. You know, we can look at the pandemic, and really now, as we're at this stage of it, we need to be able to step back and look and see, from an artistic standpoint, the silver linings that came out of that. Yeah. You know, I seen an improv community that we shut the lights out on March 12th, and the following weekend we had our first show that was online, and it was Knights of the Arcade on Twitch. Uh-huh. And everything was donation based. We did online programming every week of 2020, even when we were doing our live outdoor stuff.
Oh wow!
We had every week except for the Christmas holiday week. We did not program anything for that, and it was just watching folks build a whole new tool chest. Yeah. You know, they were working on character work and different things that maybe on stage they weren't. And then a couple of those shows then made the transition to now our very popular monthly or bi-monthly stage shows live. They took it from your computer and put it on stage. And seeing those artists create and become these just forces of creativity coming into this point of it. Yeah. It was pretty amazing to watch.
That is one of the, like you were saying, the silver lining from all of that. It's like maybe they did take some time and you wouldn't have addressed something or thought about something that you wouldn't have before. And now that I have this time, maybe I will think of something different and try something new. The whole reason we started this podcast back up is because of that. I worked in a restaurant, she works in a restaurant. Now we have some time off. Let's do something, and you know, it comes out of that. So, what are some things that you'd like to see going forward for the Arcade, and like with the other stuff that you said you were doing?
You know, as we continue to look, you know, at the next 5 years, you know, as we approach 10, and you know, I think that we have to be able to continue to have our focus on ensuring equity on our stages. Mm-hmm. We have to continue to grow and learn and get better, figuring out different ways to combat different barriers that keep people from being able to enjoy and do our art, whether that is continuing and growing our diversity scholarship program. It's been an amazing success for us, for our academy and for our stages. Mm-hmm. Just bringing more diverse, beautifully talented individuals with a whole other mindset about comedy, and that has to be our continued focus. Yeah. It's just, is giving more and more opportunities to everybody to enjoy as an audience member or to get up on stage and do. So for me, that's the biggest thing that needs to continue to grow and change. And, you know, I've always said I want the arcade to be thought of on a national level. You know, we do here in the world of improv theaters, you know, that, you know, you hear UCB, obviously you can talk Second City and then Groundlings.
Right.
And there's some other more notable ones that just aren't as known as that. You know, I want the arcade to be thought of as a place where artists are treated the way that artists should be treated. In a facility that is beautiful, and can take care of growing the future of the art scene here in Pittsburgh with comedy, and you know, and go from there. But you know, we have to embrace technology. We have to find new ways of getting comedy out there. You know, there's a lot of different ways that can be done, and you know, continuing to develop on those things. I think those are critical to us to continue to, you know, freshen up and continue to change with the times. And we've shown that over these last 2 years. We were the first organization in Pittsburgh to do anything in person outdoors. We were the very first. Yeah. So we said we didn't want to be the first to do any. We want to sort of sit back and be the second. Yeah. But we knew that we needed to get our artists, and we needed to get outdoors, and we needed to do comedy. You know, we hate outdoor comedy as artists. We've always said we've never been a part of a good outdoor show, but the staff, we sat in the room together and just looked at each other and said, yeah, but we've never produced outdoor comedy. Yeah. And we did 42 very successful shows. You know, culminating with Mike Kaplan in front of 115 people, you know, outside, and Zambelli fireworks going up over his head. We just timed that perfectly with fireworks night. Oh wow! Oh, I was gonna say fireworks night. It couldn't have been a win.
It was amazing. I woke up that morning and we had that show, and we rained out the night before, so we pushed all those tickets to the second night. Yeah. And it was on the it was over there it was the Allegheny Overlook, the Pittsburgh Downtown Park.
Oh really?
And they had they had a beer garden and food trucks, and it was shut down for like the whole summer. And just this big stage, and I woke up that morning and seen it was fireworks night, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. Because the stadium is right across the river. And right before the show, I'm you know, backstage in that area, and I see a guy with a Zambelli shirt, and a fireman's hat on, ball cap. I'm like, this is their safety. So I walked over to him and you know, introduced myself. And, you know, we connected real quick, and I said, when are they going off? And he's like, I know he is. I can tell you exactly when they gonna go.
That's so convenient.
Yeah. Like, what a good ass.
Oh, he cried. Yeah, he was straight out of Blonde. He was my guy. So he told me the time that it was supposed to happen, as long as he didn't go into extra innings or whatever. And
Pirates would be blown up by that.
So the way I lit Mike there was I had 2 puck lights on the stage that were remote control.
Okay.
So I can light him. So I told him, you know, blue was going to be his 5-minute mark. Yeah. And then red was going to be a 10-second countdown to when the fireworks.
Oh yeah.
So my guy's right there. I'm at the tech booth, and he's right directly across from me, and he's just looking at me. Yeah. And he just goes. He's counting it down. I give it to Mike, and then Mike says, you know, thank you, Pittsburgh, have a good night. And
that's so sick.
And we have these amazing, and then my staff that were there with me that night were all lined up in the one corner and just all start taking pictures. And we have the most amazing picture of Ed Bailey.
Okay,
because he was the host that night, so he came back up on stage. And they were still, obviously they were still going off. And I have this picture that I have is like, it's unbelievable. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, please do.
It's one of those
that would be
amazing moments.
Incredible for Ed to have that.
He does.
Yeah.
I sent it to him. I said, we're definitely trying to figure out a place for it in the theater and have it blown up. Yeah. You know, as long as it doesn't get too, you know, grainy and things, but it's going to be a good shot.
That's awesome. Yeah. And that's so cool with the timing and everything.
It worked out perfect.
Like, since us doing this show, just to figure out things, just working the right way,
Right.
Like just having things work the right way. I
couldn't do it again.
Very
like if
excited
I wanted
by
to
that.
plan it,
Yeah.
If I wanted to plan
never
it,
worked out in a million years.
But it
never.
all the
in that
dominoes
moment.
falling,
And that was our last.
perfect.
And that was our last outdoor show.
That's perfect.
And then we went, and the next weekend we opened back up inside.
And
Oh,
on
wow.
a high note.
Yeah.
And on a high note.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Oh,
Always
that's
knowing to walk
incredible.
away.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. Cheats, do you have any questions for Jason before we got into some of the other random questions?
No, you guys kind of you kind of covered it all.
Okay.
We're looking at like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, we're good. We
10 minute
got
lecture.
it. I think we're good. We just have the movie question that we always ask everybody.
I
about
figured we'd roll
their least
right
favorite
into that.
movie character was. Now we had Terry Jones in last week.
Yeah.
With some
wait. Well, yeah. Listen, I did listen.
Okay.
I listened, and before we get into the movie thing, I just want a couple minutes. There were some things that I wanted to like sort of talk through with what Terry had said, and he touched on some points in the world of comedy about the about some of the negative nature of it.
Yeah.
And told some stories that I knew.
Yeah.
And could fill in the names.
Yeah.
And knew those stories because I've been around during those times. And I know that Terry addressed it where he said, but this is a great thing to do.
Yeah.
Because we realized that with the picture that was being painted. Is that those things are like very prevalent.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh comedy scene has evolved so much since those times, but the standard to what Terry is saying just comes down to any new comic, anybody that's new or getting into comedy. Understand you have to keep your grass cut low.
Yeah.
Because you got to keep an eye out for the snakes in anything that you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. It all comes down to who you are willing to work with and who you are going to circle yourself with. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of comics in this scene that will do anything to help another comic.
Yeah.
They're there. It's grown. It is in a much better place. It is a healthier comedy scene than it was 8 years ago, 6 years ago,
right?
Even 4 years ago. So it is about understanding that does exist, and especially outside of what I would call my arcade bubble. I know this, and I know especially once you get outside of Pittsburgh. If a booker's asking you to do things or do shows for free because of whatever, I believe in getting paid for your art, so I would probably not work with them. So that was the thing. I just wanted to quickly. You said Terry Jones, and I was like, listening to the podcast last week, and I could feel what he was saying, and I could feel what his intent was. And I also know he was like, this is a pretty damn cool thing. So I don't want to chase anyone away from it. But it's just like anything in life. You have to keep your head on a swivel and know who you're willing to hitch your ride to.
Correct. Yeah. It seems like from interviewing comedians over the last couple months or whatever, it is a common thing where it's like, watch out, but I'm not telling you not to do it because I love it. Yeah. So it is like, I think when people do say that, I know that we take it like, it's like anything. Like if you're in music, if you're just doing whatever, whatever it is, you have to watch out. Just your friends around you. Yeah. But for stuff like that, well, we love half the comedians, and we like to do some more stuff with it. And we're excited for it. We're excited to see where everything goes.
Great.
We like seeing all the people. We've had plenty of people on that we've seen on your shows, and they're all doing well. And we wish them continued success. Everybody that comes on here, they've been awesome.
You're gonna love Brittany.
Oh, we're excited for her. We have her. We have Don Arner coming on next month. I'm excited for Don.
Yeah, that should be a fun time.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. I don't know if I have any other comedians booked right now. I've been talking to a few, but I don't want to.
There's a lot of great ones.
Yeah,
we have one right now. We have a comic right now. Her name's Dominique, and she's about to do her. She just finished up her stand-up class, and this Thursday night she has their stand-up show. And I sat in on one of Suzanne's classes the one night, and when Dominique hit the stage, I immediately was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, it was something different.
She owned that stage, and it was 4 weeks into this comedy class. Like, it blew my mind. I was like, "Oh, here comes the next star."
Let me ask you this: as far as that goes, do you see new comics struggling more with the writing or with being comfortable on stage, like performing it?
I think it always comes down to the writing. I think that most people that get into comedy kind of have they want to be on stage,
Yeah.
you know, so they sort of always maybe pictured themselves on stage.
Mhm.
So even if they've never done it before,
Yeah.
they can sort of fake their way through that.
Yeah.
But you can't fake writing.
Yeah.
You can't, other than just straight up taking
The
people's
content's
jokes.
there, or it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
All right, let's let me ask you the movie question then,
Okay.
and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
So we ask everybody who comes in, like we asked Terry last week,
Yeah.
and everybody before that, who their least favorite movie character is. Cheech is known to hate Rose from the Titanic.
Right.
I'm not a fan of Jenny. I don't like. There's a lot of people like Donner from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
I feel like he's just not a good. He like makes Rudolph hide his nose and doesn't, you know.
Right,
and then all of a sudden at the end he's like, oh, you know.
That's your guy.
Yeah,
like
you
that
know
guy.
Donner.
Yeah,
Donner's no
Right
good.
on.
But do you have an answer for us?
Daniel LaRusso.
Oh yeah.
I
Thought about it.
No hesitation.
No,
Not
I
at
mean
all.
it's been since I seen Karate Kid in the
Yeah.
theater when it was released.
Yeah.
Right on.
And halfway through the movie, I remember I was with my brother's 5 years older than me. When he dumps the hose on Johnny and those guys smoking weed, and I was in 4th grade.
Yeah.
And I knew what was happening.
Yeah.
And I turned to my brother and I'm like, this Daniel's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, I was in 4th grade. I'm like, this Daniel.
He's a buzzkill,
Yeah.
man.
So the whole time I was very much like, Johnny, this guy is okay. Like and now seeing it played out through, and I've talked about that since then. I always talk about it. And then we've seen like Ralph Macchio was on every cover of Tiger Beat.
Yeah.
And all the girls in school loved Ralph Macchio. And I was just like, and I think the Johnny guy's better looking. I'm like, no. But yeah, I always found that it was crazy to me that he was made out to be some hero, and it was, and now they're seeing it in Cobra Kai. They put it to play. So,
I was just gonna ask if you broke into Cobra Kai.
God, I love Cobra Kai.
That's what I've had people at work tell me that I need to watch it.
Yeah, you see
So-
Karate Kid, right?
Yeah.
Beyond 1 and 2, and then you're good. After that, I don't play around.
Oh, okay, no, I haven't.
I watched them all.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1 and 2, and then start Cobra Kai.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
start Cobra Kai until you watch
Oh, okay.
Karate Kid. You've not seen Karate Kid?
No, I've seen the first one.
Oh, okay, yeah. I would definitely get into 2 because as you get deeper into Cobra Kai, they're pulling characters from the.
That
later
is the
series.
answer I need. Because if I watch something, I'm the guy that like, if I miss the first 30 seconds, I'm not gonna watch the movie.
Yeah.
And even if it's just like the docks at night,
Yeah.
if I don't see it, I don't know the mood. I don't want to watch it.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's a good. We
That's
need
a
to make
good
a full
answer.
list for the end of the year. Our end of the year
Everybody's-
episode is coming up in I think a month. Or actually, not even a couple
We
weeks.
need to take everybody's
We're gonna do a
least
power,
favorite,
yeah.
and then we need to rank them worst.
And then
or
do
best
then do a
best
March
one.
Madness
Yeah,
poll.
yeah, exactly.
Oh my God!
Like,
Yes.
yes, thank you.
Yes!
Like, we make a
Do
bracket
a
or
bracket,
something.
do a
like-
tournament, man. You'll get so
Yeah.
many clicks on your
Yeah,
site.
that's what
That
I'm
is
saying,
such
yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah.
Get your
We'll go
interaction
through,
game
we'll
up.
get it, yeah.
We got to go through. I bet you we have 24. We probably wouldn't have, or no, we need 32.
Yeah, get your
Yeah.
get
I
your,
bet we have
get
30.
your
I feel
social
like
media interaction.
I feel like
game
there's
up.
a bunch of people that have given us like multiple character answers.
Yeah, we'll
me
go
being
back.
one of them back
Yeah.
like way back when. So like
Yeah,
we can
I'm not a
both
big
vote.
movie.
We'll vote.
I'm not a big movie.
How do you
person.
feel as far as? Have you seen the Indiana Jones movies?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm the worst. Honest, listen,
Come here,
man.
hot.
You had Daniel LaRusso right there, so I thought you might.
No,
Yeah, that
I
would've made sense.
No, I am. You could start naming movies and the like popular movies. We could
Yeah.
play that game, and like tell you like like movies. People say, "Oh my God, you haven't seen Die Hard?" I'm like,
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
I haven't seen Die Hard until a couple months
Yeah.
ago for Christmas,
Right.
and then that was.
But I have quite a few friends that are like major movie fans. Like,
Yeah.
Like I miss references.
Oh.
I'm like, God damn.
We need to talk about Sling Blade next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hell of a movie.
I love Sling Blade.
Yeah.
John Ritter was great in that. Everybody in that. What's his name?
Everybody
Oh.
was doing that.
Billy Thornton.
Oh, what's the
is
guy?
really
He's
young.
the country singer. Or he was like the guy that he was probably the antagonist in it.
What, the dad?
Yeah. Or no, like the is there
boyfriend
like
or
yeah the
stepdad
boyfriend.
or some, yeah.
Oh, was it
He
Wyatt
He was a
something?
real
I can't
fucking
remember.
dick. He was a real dick. We didn't like
But
him.
he was. I think he's a country singer.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I didn't know that.
You're canceling two things out for me. First of all,
Oh, not that I like them.
Second thing, no, second
Cheech,
thing,
you have a computer. You're the producer. Look it up, man.
What? Sling Blade?
Sling
You should have
Blade. Look up the guy.
We're on a close crunch.
Okay.
now.
Yeah. You just have to have IMBD pulled up.
Yeah, at all times.
Every episode, because
by the time of the end of by the time
guarantee
this
it's gonna
rolls
come up
around,
and like, who was the voice of Mustafa?
Yeah.
I don't know. Cheech knows.
Oh, Terry let us know all about James. Every part about it.
Yeah, I've never seen the movie.
Oh, well, oh my God. Well, now you have a little one in the family.
Well, and that's the thing. Everyone's just like, you had kids, and
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I know. I
didn't watch The Murdering
I
Lions.
know that my father-in-law, he was big on, they've seen every Disney movie at Pabst, you know what I mean? So by the time I got it, I was like, I don't need to watch Bambi's person get killed or whatever.
Oh, yeah. But Jason, we'll wrap it up here.
Yeah.
I think so. But thank you so much for coming in.
Right on.
Anybody that wants to find any of the arcade information, where can they find it?
Yeah.
Just the arcade comedy website.
Yeah, arcadecomedytheater.com. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. That's the best way to get the most up to date what's happening, what's going on, and everything's there. Classes are on sale, so there's only a few slots left. If someone want to jump in, stand up, sold out. So
I'm going to talk to you about those classes. I think as soon as we're done with this.
yeah, absolutely.
But we'll put all your information in the info. Anybody listening, thank you for listening. Definitely click through for the arcade stuff. Go to Stuff to Do in Pittsburgh. We'll put the Beards of the Week on there. They both got ranked as a what, Cheech?
Which one?
Shut the front door.
Shut the front door.
Oh yeah, on the Guy Fieri power rankings. So,
I appreciate it, man.
yeah, thank you very much.
coming on, man.
Thanks for Spotlight Comedy, man.
Absolutely.
We love
that's a
it,
big thing.
and I'd like to get more involved in it. So
Right.
we're gonna try to do that. But thank you very much. Definitely go through there, look at arcade. They have plenty of good shows, all the classes. So, Cheech, let's wrap it up. Thank you very much, Sam.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, Cheech. Right on.
Be sure to subscribe to the show to catch the latest
Right on,
episode
man.
and share with your friends. We can't promise not to.
I didn't know the parking situation, so I did park on the main street, at the next street, and then I come walking back here, and I'm like, well, I probably could have jammed it right back here, right?
Yeah,
You know that alley?
Yeah.
Next time you have me on, I'll be
We'll have the valet ready.
I appreciate you guys. I'm sorry I'd love to hang and talk to you guys more, man. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Absolutely.
Hook me up, hit me up, and hit me up. You want to talk, figure out more about classes and see what that looks like, and